So now, before we get to the parsha, let's move from the joke room to the newsroom. A recent news item came to my attention. Tragic death of some young girls in Poland who suffocated in a fire as they were in what is called an escape room, and they were not able to get out. And this has brought a lot of attention to what an escape room is and how it should be regulated. In a recent interview on Slovak Broadcasting, one proprietor of such a place explained exactly what it is. It's an increasingly popular form of entertainment which you pay to go into a locked room, which you can get out of. The variety of hints and clues, and the idea is to get out of the room. Lest you be worried that such a tragedy is likely to happen in a Slovak escape room, so this gentleman, at least for his escape room, reassured the audience that there's constant camera monitoring. There is a game master who can even actually give them some hints. They're not isolated there, and in the case of any emergency, they can be quickly spirited out of the escape room. Otherwise, the escape room is a form of exile, and their attempt to leave it is in fact their exodus. And hence, as I've heard this just the other night on the radio, I want to present this as one dimension of our weekly parsha in which the Jewish people leave Egypt. But what is even more profound is this fellow added that actually there is another form of entertainment in these centers, which is a kind of spin-off of the escape room, and it's called the hidden treasure, or searching for the treasure, hladanie pokladov. And there works the other way around. You're not trying to get out. You're trying to find the treasure that is hidden there, again, with the assistance of a variety of clues and hints and evidence. And so here we have not merely the release and emancipation from imprisonment, but actually an enrichment. And as I said, I heard this the other evening on the radio as I was driving, and in keeping with the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, that everything we see and hear should somehow be connected to a lesson in our divine service. So I right away saw this connection. Now we have, after the final plague, the killing of the firstborn, and everyone's getting ready to leave. And God tells Moses, please speak in the ears of the people and tell them to ask from their neighbors, a man from the men, women from the women, vessels of silver and gold. It says daber na. The word na means please. You know, God is the boss, so command's a command. What is please here? And Rashi, citing the Talmud, indeed clarifies that na does in the Torah mean please. There is a beseeching happening here. There is a special significance on the one hand, and at the same time, the using of the word please implies a reluctance on the part of the Israelites, which God is addressing. Why is it so important that they get the silver and gold? So again, Rashi cites the Talmud Brachot, that at the very beginning, the first forefather, Abraham, when he had what was called the Brit Ben Haptarim, which means the covenant between the parts, because it was a ox was split in half, and it happened in between these two parts. And that is when he was told, know that your children shall be strangers in a land not theirs. They will enslave them and afflict them. Afterwards, they shall go out with great wealth. It would be the fourth generation after Abraham. This is the prophecy and the communication to Abraham in the book of Genesis, where he is told about the Egyptian bondage and the ensuing redemption, and how they will go out with great wealth. So now, explains Rashi, when God says please, he's telling him, let not that righteous man Abraham have a complaint to me, that the prophecy of that your children shall be strangers and shall be enslaved and afflicted was fulfilled, but that the other prophecy, or the continuation of the prophecy, that they shall go out with great wealth, was not fulfilled. And so it would seem from the language of Rashi and the Talmud, that in order to avoid this complaint from Abraham, God is saying, you must take the silver and gold with you. But clearly there is more to it here. Incidentally, to underline the central importance of this removing wealth from Egypt and its connection to the redemption, we see already before Moses went even to Pharaoh, it was at the burning bush. And he says then, when you go, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman shall ask from her neighbor vessels of gold and vessels of silver and garments, and in Hebrew, unitzaltem at Mitzrayim, it means you shall literally drain Egypt of all its wealth. And so it was that during the plague of darkness, the Midrash tells us that the Jews who were able to see used this opportunity to take inventory of the valuables of the Egyptians. So we see that this commandment is not something which can be fulfilled perfunctorily to take a few pieces of gold. They clearly had to take everything with them. Now it's easy to understand why they would not want to do this. The beseeching of na, please, the Talmud gives a metaphor of a man who was in prison. He's told, okay, the door's open, you're free. But if you stay until tomorrow, we can give you a lot of money also. To which the prisoner responds, I'll be happy just to get out by myself. That is the phenomenon of imprisonment, that freedom is more precious than anything else. And delaying that freedom, even for the promise of wealth, is not something one is likely to do. Now, you may have second thoughts about this, but I asked in a recent lecture on this theme I asked the students to imagine you're in the Gulag in Russia, and all of a sudden someone says, okay, you can walk out right now. Or you can stay here one more day, we'll give you a lot of money. I wouldn't ask any questions. I would get out of there. So this displays the reluctance of the Jews to fulfill it, in necessitating God to say please, and the word please at the same time underlining why this is so fundamental. Why was it so fundamental? We're going to find out very soon.